Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this rather lovely sunlit apartment in Paris. My name is Damien Walter, and those of you who have followed my videos or my courses online will know that I'm a very lucky person. I work as a professional writer, and that means that I get to travel around with my laptop and sit in cafes and type and do all of my work, and in turn that frees me to travel around from one location to another, and that means that when I teach these courses I get to record them in a variety of rather wonderful locations. And at the moment I'm here in Paris for the summer working on a book. Yes, working on a book, but I'm taking a little bit of time out from the book working to introduce my new course, which I'm very excited about. It's called Writing Practice, 11 Essential Heuristics, very important word for the course, 11 Essential Heuristics to power up your writing. What is this course about? Well, I've been teaching creative writing for somewhere between 15 and 20 years, depending on how you count it. And over that time, I've struggled with one really big problem. And that's how to give people the really core skills, the foundational essential skills that you need for any kind of writing, whether it's professional copywriting or journalism or novel writing or short stories or screenplays. Whatever it is that you're writing, the foundational skills that make you a powerful writer are basically the same. And teaching those skills is really difficult. I can teach you spelling and grammar, but you won't necessarily be a powerful writer. I can give you hints and tips. They won't necessarily really make you stronger as a writer. So over all these years of teaching, I started off in little libraries working with people very often who had quite difficult learning difficulties. Over the years, I kind of graduated myself to teaching at university and college level. I was Director of Creative Writing at the University of Leicester in their Adult Learners Department. And I really loved doing that work. And I spent that time studying and researching this question of how to power people up, how to empower you as a writer, and how to give you these basic foundational skills that you're going to need for whatever kind of writing you want to pursue. And this course is the answer to this question. It's called Writing Practice for a reason, because you're going to need to practice. If you just watch this course, it'll be very interesting. You'll get to watch me talk, but you won't necessarily get stronger as a writer. Because what we're doing through this course is learning. And to get the learning in place that's going to make you a stronger writer, we have to practice. We have to practice our writing. We have to complete these writing practices. And for each one of the practices that I'm going to introduce you to, you might need to practice for 12 hours. It might be even longer than that, it might be a bit less. But you are going to need to sit down and repeat the writing practices that I give you, because that's how we're going to learn. Have you seen The Karate Kid, the famous 1980s movie? They've rebooted it for YouTube recently, which is a very entertaining show. Have you seen The Karate Kid? I imagine you have, and you remember Paint the Fence, and young Ralph Macchio as the Karate Kid, he's told by Pat Narita, his mentor, to paint the fence, and he has to go around the fence on both sides. It takes him days just doing this move, and his teacher is very specific. You've got to do this move. Okay, you've got to do it like this. And he does that, and then he's taught, after painting the fence, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, and he has to wax all of the cars in his teacher's lot. So he's learnt these moves, and then he loses his temper and he says to his teacher, "You're not teaching me karate, I'm just doing all of your cleaning for you, man." And then his teacher kicks and punches at him, and the Karate Kid realizes that he's learnt these moves and he knows them automatically because he's practiced them so much that they're embedded in his unconscious. And this is how we really learn the foundations of any skill, be it karate or writing. And that's what we're trying to do with this course. We're trying to make you a ninja of writing, a martial arts master of typistry. But to do that, you're going to have to practice. So as fun as it may be listening to me, the real course you'll be doing away from the video screen in the writing practice that you're pursuing. Why? Why do you have to learn wax on, wax off? Why do you have to complete the writing practices that I'm going to be assigning for you? And this is all about that word in the title, heuristics. What is a heuristic? A heuristic is a bit like a rule. It's not quite the same as a rule, but it's a bit like a rule that if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to do karate, if you're trying to do writing or anything, the way that we as humans learn to do things is via heuristics. An example, when you were a kid, you were taught to cross the road, or at least I hope you were, because otherwise you've probably been run over by now. But it's more than likely that you were taught to stop, look and listen. Okay? When you get to a road, you stop. You don't just carry on walking across whatever you may think about the road and whether it's clear or not. You stop. You look, you use your eyes to look left and right, and you listen. Stop, look and listen. You listen for traffic. Now, if you learn these, you've learned good heuristics for crossing the road. Stop, look, listen, and you're much less likely to be hit by a car. You could, of course, be taught completely terrible heuristics. A really bad parent might teach their child, as when you see a road, just run as fast as you can across it. Run fast across the road. And now you've been given a really bad heuristic. And the bad heuristic is making it really impossible for you to cross the road safely, and you're probably going to get hit by a car. So there are good heuristics and there are bad heuristics. Now, over many years of studying the writers that I'm teaching, the revelation that I had was this. People who find writing difficult are not stupid. People who find writing difficult are not uneducated. People who find writing difficult are not lacking in talent for writing. None of this is true. Almost every human alive has the same essential capacity to write. I've written professionally for most of my life, but I have no particular innate talent as a writer. I've become good as a writer. I can demonstrate that by the fact that I get paid really well to write lots of things. I guess that's quite good evidence. But it's nothing innate in me. It's my writing practice, and that I've learned over time really good heuristics for writing. But unfortunately, much of what we're taught about writing at schools, much of what we learn about it in the popular media, for instance, teaches us really bad heuristics for writing. Heuristics that hang us up, that slow us down, that make writing more difficult than it should be. So over my years of teaching, I've sat down and I've attempted to understand, with myself as the first example, and then working with students to test out what I've learnt, to develop really good heuristics for writing that I can teach the students through a simple, direct set of practices. In this course, I'm going to give you writing practices that will teach you 11 essential heuristics to power up your writing. It's that simple, it's that direct. It's going to take you a lot of work to learn them. But if you do, I guarantee you, you will be a much more powerful writer than when you began. In fact, I guarantee you that you will be able to write the projects that you want to develop. If you feel at the end of the course that that isn't true, you can come back. I'll give you your money back. I can't say fairer than that, really, because I'm absolutely certain that it will. Whatever kind of writing it is that you want to do, whether it's novel writing, screenwriting, copywriting, journalism, anything, this course will help you develop in that direction. This is the introduction. There will be 11 short talks. Each talk will be accompanied by a writing practice, and you then will have to take the time to practice in your own life, in your own situation, to put the time in, and you will master the practices and you will develop the 11 essential heuristics. You can follow this course primarily via my Patreon account. Just go along, sign up, any level of patron. You can follow the course and practice the exercises. And you can also on Patreon get feedback from me about what you're doing in the exercises. So I recommend that as a way to follow the course. You will also be able to follow it on Udemy and Skillshare, and each talk and exercise will update to those platforms. Far in the distant future, it may be offered entirely for free on YouTube. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, where I try to give as many writing teachings and talk about a few other subjects as well as I possibly can. Also come along and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you fancy it. I'm always chatting about various things and you can ask me questions on there. Okay, thank you very much for giving your time to tune into this introduction. It will be followed by the first of our writing practices to learn the first heuristic to power up your writing. Again, thank you for your time. I'm really looking forward to working with you on this course. I put a lot of time and thought into these writing practices. I am excited to see how these writing heuristics help you and empower you as a writer. Thank you very much. Let's meet again very soon.